Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are talking about the 2026 Florida governor's race, and it shows that in the Republican primary, Republican Byron Donalds is having a crushing lead over his Republican opponents in the Republican primary thus far. So in a new poll that has just been released by the American Promise, it shows that Byron Donalds starts out with a very commanding lead here. On the initial ballot, Donald starts out with 40% of the vote. His next closest challengers, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, has 2%, and Paul Renner, another Republican who just entered the race, has 2%, with 54% undecided. Now for the poll, when it says the informed ballot, Donald's at that point then jumps up to 57%, Collins remains at 2%, Renner's at 1%, 38% still undecided or unsure in that part of the poll. Now the informed ballot, a theoretical ballot voters consider, is after hearing more information about each candidate, including that President Trump has endorsed Byron Donalds in this governor's race. So the candidates, if you're not familiar, are Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, U.S. Representative Byron Donalds is flirting with the bid, and former House Speaker Paul Renner, who did just launch his campaign for governor last week. Donald's name value has also been increasing. A survey from the American Promise conducted in January found that 38% of voters said they knew enough about Donalds to make a confident choice at the ballot box. Meanwhile, 40% said they'd never heard of him, and 22% claimed to have no opinion of him. This month, Donald's qualified name identification hit 52%, a overall 14-point uptick, while his no opinion or never heard of him metrics both dipped. Overall, Donald in this poll had a net favorability of plus 32 points in January and now 43% in this month. This spells very bad news, this article points, in the race for the other candidates. That Ryan Tyson, political strategist, noted that Collins and Renner both have qualified name IDs below 15%, while also having significantly less campaign cash to spend on popularizing themselves. For Donalds to do this without a statewide media buy is a resounding accomplishment, Tyson said. Despite the sizable lead, we see signs that Donalds still potentially has more room to grow. Tyson added that Donalds is particularly strong in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Southwest Florida media markets. Florida is a very big, very expensive state to compete in, Tyson said, so challengers will need substantial resources just to be competitive. So this is very interesting, because we've been talking about the Florida governor's race for the last few months or so, especially after President Trump gave his endorsement to U.S. Representative Byron Donalds. Right now, Charles Burkett, the mayor of Surfside, Florida, is in this race, and Paul Renner, the former Speaker of the Florida House of Representatives from 2022 to 2024. Now, Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, who's just appointed by Ron DeSantis a few weeks ago to be the Lieutenant Governor, has expressed interest in potentially running in 2026. Now, Collins would be viewed essentially as the heir apparent to Governor Ron DeSantis, who Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump obviously have had their feuds in the past, and DeSantis even running for president in 2024 against Donald Trump in that primary, and how everything nasty shook out in that one. And even though Trump and DeSantis have seemed to have made up during the 2024 election, general election, and after the election, still there could be a little bit of bad blood there between Trump and DeSantis, especially with Trump endorsing Donalds, and DeSantis and Donalds, I do believe, having a little bit of a behind-the-scenes feud going as well over Donald supporting Trump in 2024 and not DeSantis. So Donald certainly has the endorsement of Trump, and DeSantis would like someone to run against him. Now, his Lieutenant Governor, Jay Collins, is the first person that comes to mind. Though Collins in this poll only having 2% is obviously not very good news for DeSantis and any Republican hoping to take down Donalds. Now, one name that's been very close to watch for important months now is the First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis, who the early polling showed that in a Casey DeSantis versus Byron Donalds matchup, that one could actually be a very competitive race, where depending on the poll you look at, Casey DeSantis versus Byron Donalds is very close, and Casey DeSantis at times is actually leading. In a University of North Florida poll from the middle of July, DeSantis led Donalds by about 3 points. From St. Pete polls, Byron Donalds was leading over DeSantis by roughly about 7 to 8 points. Target market research from back in May had DeSantis up 1, and from back in April had DeSantis plus 6. Fabrizio Lee and Associates, President Trump's top pollster, had Donalds leading over DeSantis by about 4 points. So the race between DeSantis and Donalds, if they were to face off, could actually be very competitive and one that DeSantis could win and Donalds could lose. But if Casey DeSantis decides to not run, and right now we really don't have any information saying she will or won't, Jay Collins would likely be the next DeSantis disciple up to enter this race. And if this poll is any indicator, it would not go very well for the DeSantis camp. Now, 54% of the vote is undecided, so there is a mathematical possibility Collins could get a lot of support and ultimately defeat Donalds in the primary, but as Donalds is starting out at 40% and Collins only has 2, the odds of that happening are certainly a lot less than, say, Casey DeSantis defeating Byron Donalds in the Republican primary. If DeSantis decides not to run and the primary becomes Donalds versus Collins versus Renner, like this poll suggests, I think Byron Donalds wins this without really too much of a problem and becomes the Republican nominee for governor. Now, on the Democratic side, the only Democrat currently declared running is former Republican Representative David Jolly, who switched to become a Democrat. He is in this race. Other publicly expressed interest candidates include Jerry Demings, the mayor of Orange County, and the husband of the former U.S. Representative and 2022 Senate candidate Val Demings. Al Lawson, former U.S. Representative from the 5th District, has expressed interest, and Angie Nixon, a state representative from the 13th District. Now, potential candidate Daniela Levine Cava, the mayor of Miami-Dade County, could also potentially run in this race. Several Democrats have already ruled out a potential bid, including Jason Pizzo, who is running in this race not as a Democrat, but as an independent. So Pizzo is officially declared and running for this race. Right now, this is listed as solid Republican from Cook Political Report, Inside Elections, and Sablo Crystal Ball, all safe for the Republicans, though Race to the White House has the race as tilt for the Republicans. The only poll that's been done at the general election level for Byron Donalds and David Jolly shows 32% of the vote undecided, with Donalds leading by about 6 points. Certainly still a very long way to go in this. On the hypothetical side, with Donalds versus Levine Cava and Pizzo, Donalds lead by 4 points. So essentially, we really don't have many polls to go off of in this race. But given Florida's recent election history, where we saw at the presidential race, it voted for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris by 13.1%, and you saw pretty much every single part of the state trend red from 2024, literally every single county trending to the GOP, including the major population areas like Miami-Dade, shifting 18.8% from 2020 to 2024. Hillsborough, where Tampa is, shifting 9.9%. You can look up here to Osceola, I believe it is, in Orange County, where Orlando is, 9.5. You see Broward and Palm Beach trending. This is where Mar-a-Lago is, 12 points towards Trump. So Florida has become a very red trending state in recent years, and Trump won it by 13 points. At the governor level, DeSantis won it in 2022 by 19.4% against former Democratic governor Charlie Crist. Well, I guess he was Republican governor at the time, Charlie Crist, in that race. To remind you, back in 2018, DeSantis only won against Democrat Andrew Gillum by 0.39%. And now Florida, seeing how much of a Republican state that it is, certainly the Republicans have a very big chance of winning this race. I just recorded a video about the state of Colorado and how I mentioned how this state has been one of the most Democratic trending states over the last 15 years. Florida has to be the most Republican trending state over the last 15 years, sort of the inverse of Colorado and how red the state has become. So certainly going to be an important race to watch for, but whichever Republican, whether it's Donalds or DeSantis or Jay Collins, wins the Republican primary, the chances of them winning this governor's race essentially are all but locked up. And again, when you look at what Trump did, winning Hillsborough, almost winning Palm Beach, winning Miami-Dade by 11.4, going back to, say, 2012 for Obama versus Romney, I mean, the map almost looks unrecognizable. Safe Miami-Dade, safe Broward, safe Palm Beach, Hillsborough, 6.7 for Obama. Even 2016, Hillsborough voting 7 points for Clinton, Miami-Dade, 30 points, Broward, 35, Palm Beach, 15.4. 2020, Hillsborough, 7 points for Biden, Palm Beach, 13 points, Broward, 30 points, Miami-Dade, 7.4. And now 2024, how red the state has become, the Democrats do not have much of a chance, really, in this governor's race. So for my 2026 governor's map, I currently have the Florida governor's race starting out in the safe Republican category, meaning I expect the Republicans to win by more than 15% when everything is said and done. I think Byron Donalds will win this Republican primary, and I do think he'll win this race by more than 15%. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. Leave a comment below. Tell me your thoughts on this video and any other video ideas you would like to see me cover. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, thank you. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, and hope to see you in a future video.